How to force high-p scaling? How can I force an application to be high-p scaled? Pretend there is an application whose developers manifested it as high-p aware when it really isn't. How can I force p scaling? Pretend there is an application that Microsoft has applied the high-p aware compatibility shim when the application really isn't. How can I force p scaling? How can I force Windows to apply p scaling to an application? Edit. What is high-p scaling? Not all users run Windows at 96p. Not every button is supposed to be 75 by 23 pixels, not every toolbar is 25 pixels high, and not every tree view glyph is 16 by 16. If the user has chosen a different p setting for Windows, you need to scale everything appropriately. Problem is that almost no developers do their job by handling high p settings nicely. At best everything will stay the same size, which means that every appears teeny tiny. At worst forms are incorrectly laid out, with text being clipped and controls not visible. Starting with Windows Vista and leveraging the power of desktop composition, Microsoft gave up on developers doing their job and now lie to application. They tell apps that the user is running at 96p. Windows then uses the video card and desktop composition to scale up the forms. Pro. The form's content will be a nice readable size. Con. Everything will be slightly fuzzy. This high-p scaling feature only works at the user's discretion and requires Windows Vista or newer desktop composition to be enabled, the user to turn off use Windows XP style scaling, the user to not disable scaling for your application. As a developer, you can opt out of the high-p scaling if you took the effort to write your application properly and you know that you'll handle high-p properly. You opt out of this scaling by adding a manifest entry to your executable, declaring that you are high-p aware. The topic of how to make your application respect the user's preferences, including font face, font size, and p setting, is a question for Stack Overflow, as is the syntax for the manifest entry declaring your high-p awareness. This question, on Superuser, is how to ignore a developer who went ahead and added a high-p aware manifest entry, when in fact the application isn't high-p aware. They told Windows to disable scaling, but they didn't actually test the application. There is software out there with a high-p aware manifest entry, and now the application is unusable under large fonts, for example 120p.
My suggestion would be to edit the manifest and remove the incorrect declaration. And don't forget to bug the developer about it however you can. Edit. Note that it should be possible to simply place the manifest next to the executable. For example, for foo.exe, you would place the manifest in foo.exe.manifest. See MSDN article. Look in the section called File Name Syntax.
I just released a DLL that hooks and redirects calls to set process pi aware. For those applications that disabled p scaling through code, this is a fast and easy fix, compared to binary patching. Pimagler, blog post, source code.
You can still edit the manifest, you'll just have to edit it in the exe file itself. Look for a resource editor that has manifest support. An example with rudimentary support is XN Resource Editor. Just find and delete the line that mentions high-pi aware and save the executable. Be sure to make a copy of the executable before you edit it, though.
I wonder if resizable is what you're looking for? This URL.
Violenta foto de hangar, teatro consigo subscribir.